4 million cars, one deadline today, not 4 million notifications about a software patch, not 4 million minor bug fixes, 4 million Tesla owners, people who paid up to $15,000 for a package called full self-driving, waiting for an update that was supposed to arrive before this day ended. And as of right now, it has not. In January 2025, Elon Musk said replacing Hardware 3 computers would be painful and difficult. On the Q1 2026 earnings call, he confirmed the hardware will never achieve unsupervised autonomy, and Tesla engineers at companies like Waymo and GM, watching 4 million customers absorb that news, went very, very quiet. But here is what nobody is saying directly. This is not just a story about a delayed software update. Somewhere in the fine print of your original FSD purchase agreement, Tesla made a change, and the version you signed may no longer be the version you can read. Stay to the end, because what that change means for the people who paid the most, and what it means for every promise Tesla makes from here forward, is something every Tesla owner needs to understand. Today is June 28, 2026. That is the deadline Tesla set. End of June, North America. 4 million cars, one software update, and as of right now, nothing has shipped. To understand why that matters, you need to go back to a stage in Palo Alto, April 2019. Elon Musk stood in front of a crowd of investors and said something that would be quoted for years. Every Tesla built since that moment, he said, had, and these are his exact words, all the hardware necessary, compute and otherwise, for full self-driving. Every car, all the hardware necessary. People bought that promise. Not in a vague, optimistic sense, they bought it with a check. Between 2019 and 2026, hundreds of thousands of Tesla owners paid between $8,000 and $15,000 for a package called full self-driving, on the explicit understanding that the hardware sitting inside their car was already good enough. It just needed the software to catch up. For years, the software kept getting better, and Hardware 3 owners kept waiting. Then came the Q1 2026 earnings call. April 22nd, Elon Musk, same man, different stage. And this time he said something very different. Unfortunately, Hardware 3, I wish it were otherwise, but Hardware 3 simply does not have the capability to achieve unsupervised FSD. 7 words matter most. I wish it were otherwise. That is not a technical update. That is a reversal. 7 years after the promise, the CEO of Tesla acknowledged that the hardware millions of people bought and paid a premium for cannot do what it was sold to do. Not because the software failed, not because regulations slowed it down, because of the physical chip inside the car. Hardware 3 has 1/8 the memory bandwidth of Hardware 4. That is not a gap you close with a software patch. That is a wall built into the silicon. Hardware 3 shipped from 2019 through early 2023. If you bought a Model 3 or Model Y during those years, there is a strong chance you are sitting on one right now. Roughly 4 million vehicles worldwide. Tesla's answer? The compromise, the bridge, is called FSD version 14 Lite, a compressed version of the same neural network powering the newest cars, designed to run on older hardware, bringing features Hardware 3 has never had. Starting FSD from a parked position, automatic gear shifting and reversing, destination parking, new speed profiles including sloth and Mad Max modes. According to Tesla AI chief Ashok Eloswamy on the Q1 2026 earnings call, Hardware 3 owners will essentially have all the same features that version 14 for Hardware 4 has. That is the promise. Again, and the deadline for that promise was today. But the story of what version 14 Lite actually is, what it can do, what it cannot, and what Tesla quietly changed in the background while owners were waiting. That is what the next part of this video is about. Because the hardware gap is only half the story. Here is what Lite actually means, and what it does not. The label is not about features. Ashok Eloswamy was specific about this. The Lite refers to the size of the neural network underneath, a compressed, optimized version of the same behavioral logic running on Hardware 4 cars. Same decision-making framework, smaller model footprint, engineered to fit inside a chip that was never designed to run it. Think about what that engineering actually required. Tesla took a neural network built for a processor with 8 times the memory bandwidth, then distilled it, pruned it, quantized it, until it could run on something smaller without losing the core intelligence. That is not a downgrade. That is a year of engineering work most companies would not attempt, and what it delivers, according to Tesla's confirmed feature list, is significant. Hardware 3 owners have been frozen at FSD version 12.6 since early 2025. That is 18 months. During those 18 months, Hardware 4 vehicles received 2 full generational leaps, version 13 and version 14. Version 13 introduced automatic reversing and gear shifting inside FSD. Version 14 went further. Full end-to-end logic across the entire driving stack, low-speed maneuvering in parking garages, a 20% faster reaction time from a rewritten AI compiler, new speed profiles, sloth, chill, standard, hurry, Mad Max, that let you dial the aggressiveness of FSD up or down in real time. None of that reached Hardware 3 until now. With version 14 Lite, for the first time, a Hardware 3 vehicle will be able to pull itself out of a parking space, navigate city streets using the same behavioral logic as a newer car, and park at its destination, all without the driver touching a single gear selector. These are not minor refinements. For a car that has been sitting on the same software for 18 months, this is a different vehicle. But there is a number that tells the real story of where Hardware 3 still stands. According to data tracked across the Tesla fleet, Hardware 4 vehicles average roughly 450 miles between driver disengagements. Hardware 3, on the current version 12.6, averages around 120 miles. That is a gap of more than 3.5 times. And even with version 14 Lite, the lower resolution cameras on Hardware 3 remain a ceiling that software cannot raise. Tesla's own engineers have acknowledged that reaction times on Hardware 3 will be slower and that decision-making depth will differ, not because the logic is weaker, but because the eyes feeding that logic see less. Imagine what that looks like from the inside. 4 million owners checking the same app, waiting for the same notification. No dealership appointment. No cost. Just a Wi-Fi connection and a file that Tesla promised would arrive this month. An update that could make a 2021 Model Y feel like a new car, or confirm, once and for all, that the hardware gap is deeper than a software patch can reach. That question has no clean answer yet, because as of today, the update has not shipped. What has shipped quietly, with almost no announcement, is something far more consequential to the people who paid the most for this promise. And that is where this stops being a story about software. Here is the line nobody is drawing clearly enough. If you own a Hardware 4 Tesla, a car built from early 2023 onward, you are in a different category now, not just in terms of software capability, in terms of what your car might eventually earn. When Tesla's robotaxi network scales, Hardware 4 vehicles are eligible, Hardware 3 vehicles are not. Elon Musk confirmed this directly on the Q1 2026 earnings call. The hardware ceiling is permanent. No software update changes it, and the earning potential that Hardware 4 owners are being positioned for. Community estimates based on early Austin robotaxi data put that figure at $425 to $1,500 per month net. Though Tesla has not confirmed specific numbers, that potential does not exist for Hardware 3. The two cars can look identical in a parking lot. Same model, same color, same price when they were bought. The difference is one chip, installed before January 2023 or after. That single decision, made by a factory line not by the owner, is the line between a car that might pay for itself one day and one that will not. That is the stakes, not abstract, not speculative. One chip. But here is the part Tesla has not talked about in any earnings call. While Hardware 3 owners were waiting for version 14 Lite, Tesla made a different kind of change. According to reports surfacing as of June 3, 2026, Tesla retroactively modified FSD purchase agreements signed between 2016 and 2024, adding the word supervised to contracts that did not originally contain it. And in some confirmed cases, the original agreements have been made entirely inaccessible to owners. The documents that would have shown exactly what Tesla promised and exactly what owners believed they were buying are no longer available to retrieve. Tesla's current support pages are unambiguous. FSD Supervised is a SAE Level 2 driver assistance system. The driver must remain attentive at all times. That is the same category as basic lane keeping. It is a long way from the full self-driving capability language that sold the package to hundreds of thousands of early adopters. The legal response is already forming. As of June 18, 2026, more than 7,000 Hardware 3 owners from 37 countries, backed by Kennedy van der Laan, one of the Netherlands' most respected law firms, have joined a collective claim against Tesla. The Dutch Vehicle Authority, the RDW, confirmed in writing that Tesla never submitted Hardware 3 for FSD approval. Not rejected, never submitted. Tesla applied for approval exclusively for hardware from the very beginning. In Australia, a separate class action is underway. In the United States, a certified class action concerning FSD false advertising, statements made between 2016 and 2024, and version 14 Lite, the software update that was supposed to arrive today, has still not shipped. This is the moment where a 7-year promise, $243 million in Florida legal liability, a quietly rewritten contract, and 4 million waiting cars all arrive at the same deadline. The question is not whether Tesla's technology works. FSD version 14 is genuinely impressive. The 20% reaction time improvement is real. The behavioral logic is real. Hardware 3 owners who receive version 14 Lite will drive a meaningfully better car. The question is whether a better car is what was sold. Here is what we know with certainty, as of today. 4 million Hardware 3 vehicles are waiting for an update that Tesla targeted for the end of June 2026. That window ends today. The update has not arrived. Whether it ships this week, next week, or slips further, that pattern will tell you more about Tesla's promises than any earnings call statement. What version 14 Lite brings, when it does arrive, is real. Starting from park, automatic reversing, destination parking, 18 months of capability that Hardware 3 owners should have had sooner. For daily driving, it will be a meaningful improvement. What it does not bring is the one thing that was sold in 2019, full autonomy, the ability to earn from your car, the future Elon Musk described on that Palo Alto stage. That future now belongs to a different chip. So here is the question I want you to answer in the comments. If Tesla delivers version 14 Lite this week, does that make up for 7 years? Or is the damage already done? Because 7,000 owners across 37 countries have already decided. The cars are still waiting.